back with another video. I asked for comments and just any ideas for videos in my last video that I could do, and a lot of you commented with ideas and I guess just stuff that you guys wanted to know, and a couple of them were similar and they wanted to hear about the role that I was in. Some of you may know this, some of you may not, but my role was custodial at Art of Animation Resort. It was one of my top 3 choices. A lot of people think that is interesting that custodial is one of the top choices that I wanted, but here is why. I had applied for the college program before in fall of 2014, and I was scared to death, like a lot of people are when it comes to the phone interview. I got all the way to the phone interview. I got pended like a week after my phone interview, and then I got no longer in consideration. So when I applied for this for the following program, so fall 2015, the program that I was accepted into, I researched it a little bit more, and because I really just wanted to go to Disney so bad, I wanted to be in the program. And so I researched it and I looked up what they hire the most of. And I don't know if this is still true or not, but when I looked, they hire the most custodial cast members and quick service food and beverage cast members, college program cast members. So that's what I put. I don't even remember what my top 3 choices were anymore. I just remember that custodial was in there. I said during my phone interview that the reason I wanted custodial was because it's a role that gets a lot of guest interaction, but you're not necessarily playing like a role yourself. Like you're not in like a Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. Like you're not playing a part. You get to be completely yourself and you get to talk to guests and interact with them. So that's why I wanted it. And that's what I got. So going down to Florida, I don't know why, but I just had like this feeling that I wasn't going to work in a park. Like everyone says, oh, I'm going to work at Disney, and they assume they're going to get a park kind of, and I just didn't feel like I was going to, because that's just what I don't know, I didn't think I was going to. So when check-in day came, I went up and they said I was at Art of Animation Resort, so I was right, I wasn't in a park. I was in the newest resort to Disney, Art of Animation. It's built in 2012. And it's the best resort there is. I'm a little biased now, but it's just so cute, and I couldn't have picked a better place to work. I absolutely loved it. The resort it's based off 4 main Disney movies: Little Mermaid, Cars, Finding Nemo, and The Lion King. And it's all about the animation of the movies, obviously. And it's like, if you've ever been to Cars Land in Disneyland, where it just puts you in the movie, makes it feel like you're there, that's exactly how Art of Animation is. Everything is huge, and like the Nemo pool, for example, if you go underwater, you can hear the fish talking and the music and all that, and it was so cool. What I'm going to talk about kind of are just like what I did, the positions that they had there, clocking in, any of that kind of stuff. At my resort specifically, there was a few different positions or a few different shifts that you would have. You can have halls or pools, basically AM halls, AM pools, PM halls, PM pools. Halls is just working basically in the lobby. You're doing bathrooms, so you have the main guest bathroom, you've got the front desk bathrooms backstage, and you've got the cast member bathroom that's in the break area, and that's halls. Halls AM and halls PM are the same basically. It's just whether you work the 7 to 3:30 shift or the 3:30 to midnight shift. That's the only difference. I worked mostly PM shifts, except for days that I had a trash shift, which the trash shifts are 8:30 to 5. And what you do during trash shifts is all the buildings, all the hotel buildings, 1 through 10, have linen rooms, and the housekeepers, as they clean the rooms, they send the trash down into the linen rooms, and your job all day is to drive around a trash pargo, and collect the trash, take it to the compactor, and then you just do that all day long. And it sounds really bad, but it's really not that bad. It goes by really fast because you're always busy and you get to be outside and you're just kind of to yourself. Like it's not bad at all. And you work 8:30 to 5, so those are pretty good hours. The pool shift, AM pools, PM pools, also it's either 7 to 3:30, 3:30 to midnight, or the hours change a little bit based on how long the pools are open. So during the winter, they're obviously a little shorter. But that's it. Those are the only shifts you would really work at the resort. Like I said, I worked mostly PM shifts. Pools is, you're in charge of, there's 3 pools. at the resort I was at. There's the Little Mermaid pool, the Nemo pool, which is the big pool, and the Cars pool. Lion King doesn't have a pool. What you do at each one is there's bathrooms, just one male restroom, one female restroom, and they're not very big. They are like, the Cars was like 3 stalls, like they're not big bathrooms, and Nemo was the biggest one, but it still is not. It's only one bathroom. Bathrooms, I'm just gonna say this too as a side note, bathrooms are not that bad. If that's what you're worried about, like if you're thinking about doing custodial but you don't want to have to worry about bathrooms, bathrooms are not that big of a deal, especially at a resort at least. I did pick up a shift to Animal Kingdom. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So anyway, you've got the bathrooms when you work at the pool. You've also got the area around the pool, so the trash cans surrounding the pool and the pool deck itself, so cleaning up life jackets and cups and food and just anything that guests may leave on the pool deck. But pools was actually my favorite position to work because you're outside all day basically, which is awesome, unless it's cold and rainy, but it's Florida and it wasn't too bad when I was there. There was rain a lot, but it's still, when it rains, you have, you also have the laundry room you have to take care of, but you just kind of hang out in the laundry room and keep that clean. It wasn't too bad at all. I loved working the pools. But yeah, that's about it. When you work at the pools, you get to walk around and talk to the guests all day, and they also have children's activities at all the pools at the resorts. Ours was at the Nemo pool because it was the biggest pool, so they have that going all day, and there's music and trivia and all that stuff, so you get to be a part of all that still while you're working, so it didn't even really feel like work. It was great. And then you close the pool at the end of the night. If you open the AM shift, you just wipe down the tables, make sure everything looks good. PM shift, you empty all the trash to make sure that's empty, empty the towels, make sure that's empty, and that's about it. That's like, it's easy closing the pools. So I really liked where I worked. I couldn't have picked a better place. I was kind of bummed at first that I didn't get a park, but I wouldn't have traded it for anything. It was so much fun and my coworkers were awesome. So that is kind of the positions that I worked at my resort personally. Every place is different also how they give breaks. So depending on how long your shift is, you may have like 2 15 minutes and a 30-minute. It just kind of depends. At our resort, we had a 1-hour break. So our breaks and our lunch were all smushed together, so we would just have 1 hour, which I really enjoyed. Like I said, I picked up a shift to Animal Kingdom. They did it a little differently. Their break, since it was a 6-hour shift, I had two 15-minute breaks and then like no lunch technically, and it was fine. I just was used to like the 1 hour. So but it depends if you like to have more breaks rather than just one long break. It's kind of just a personal opinion, but we had 1 hour. Another thing I wanted to talk about is clocking in and out. So at my resort personally, like a lot of the time you don't necessarily always go straight to where you're working. So Custodial did not go straight to Art of Animation. We went to the cast services building. There was Caribbean Beach, and then Pop Century and Art of Animation were right next to each other for cast services. Pop and Art share the same building. So we would go to cast services, clock in. We used wall clocks at our location, so they're really simple. You just have your blue ID, you push in, swipe, and you're clocked in. When you leave, you push out, swipe, that's it. And the same for lunch. They have like lunch start, lunch end. Really, really easy. Other places, I'm pretty sure all the parks use, I'm not positive on that, but I know at least Animal Kingdom does because that's where I picked up the shift. They use CDS, or the cast deployment system, which is all on a computer. Had to have somebody help me when I did it, just because I think it was kind of confusing just right at the beginning. I'm sure it's not confusing at all for people that use it all the time and like when you figure it out, but going from a wall clock to the computer to CDS, it was just kind of, it's really different. Most people I knew use CDS. Like people would be like, oh, you use a wall clock, and they thought it was so weird because I guess not very many people use the wall clocks, but that's what we used. I did want to talk about the schedules before I talk about picking up the shift, because picking up shifts where I work was like, it was a little different because, so schedules usually come out, I think Saturdays at midnight, I think was what it was for most people, for most cast members. Saturday at midnight is when your schedule is posted on the hub for the following week. And I know some people get their schedules 2 weeks ahead, some only a week. We got ours every week. Ours was different though because our schedules would come out Tuesday nights at midnight. And I have no idea why. We were, like, as far as I know, the only place that did that. It didn't release them on Saturdays. And I guess it didn't really make a difference because it's just weekly, which most people I know got their schedules weekly. So it didn't make a difference too bad, except for when it came to picking up shifts, because Saturdays, when everybody else's schedules would come out, they would post shifts that needed to be picked up, and all these other cast members already know their schedule for that week, so they know when they can pick up. By the time Tuesday came around, we still don't know our schedules. Midnight hits, we get them. By the time we know when we can pick up shifts, most of the shifts are already taken from anywhere else. So very rarely was there shifts available anywhere outside of like our resort. It was easy to pick up shifts if someone, like an immediate coworker, was giving them away. But picking up shifts in other parks, other resorts, could be kind of difficult just because the 2-day difference in the schedule releases. So that was the one negative thing about it. Besides that, picking up shifts and giving away shifts was pretty easy because we had a lot of part-timers at the resort, and giving away shifts was, I mean, it really was not hard at all. I had so many people that would always be like, oh, if you need to give a shift away, I'll take it. Like, really easy to give away shifts. So like when my family came down, it was easy to give the whole week away without having an issue. So that was pretty good. What I was going to mention was I happened to get on the hub one day just looking to see if there was shifts to pick up. Didn't think there would be, but there was. There was an Animal Kingdom shift, just a 6-hour shift. It was like till like 7 o'clock at night shift, and so I picked it up just because I wanted to work in a park before I left. And it was kind of nice because Maya actually worked the exact same hours that day, so I was able to go to work with her and she could show me where to go, and then we left at the same time too, so that worked out really nice. But I went to the park and I was really nervous because in my head I had like, oh, I work at a resort, that's not nearly as busy as the park's gonna be, like it's gonna be so much harder, there's more people, more popcorn, all that kind of stuff. I was really nervous. So I got there and went in, and the manager was like, oh, okay, you picked up a shift, here's where you're gonna be working. And I was working at Everest Streets. So the way Animal Kingdom does it, at least as far as I could tell, was there's streets and then there's bathrooms. So you work one or the other, you don't do both. Like at Art of Animation, if you have the pool area, you also have the bathroom. The resort has such a larger area to work than the parks did, and I don't know, I can't say that for the other parks because I don't know how they do it, but Animal Kingdom, at least, I had Everest Streets. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, that's the busiest place in the whole park, like you're gonna be really busy. So I was so nervous, and I went in and they showed me my area. If any of you are familiar with Animal Kingdom, my area was from the bridge that is right next to the Nemo Theater and Everest, from there all the way to the monkeys. So past Everest, then the monkeys are right there. That's where my area was, and that was it. That's all I had to do, was just walk back and forth for 6 hours, sweeping, panning and brooming, and then I had to do a trash run at the end of my shift, and I only had to do a trash run once. So I was actually so surprised. I was slower at the park than I was at the resort. I stayed busier at the resort than I did working at Animal Kingdom. So luckily I had another cast member with me. She was also a college programmer who was doing Everest bathrooms that day, and her job is just the bathroom. So she just keeps that clean all day long. I know the park bathrooms are obviously way busier than like the pool bathrooms for sure at Art of Animation. The only thing I would be able to compare it to sort of would be like the lobby restroom at Art of Animation, but it's still, Everest bathrooms were busier than that. So that was really the only difference there. But I really enjoyed Animal Kingdom. It was lots of fun. It was kind of an eye-opener because it was so different, but I'm really happy I picked up the shift. I wish I could have picked up a shift at Magic Kingdom. That would have been cool just to see kind of the difference. I had a coworker at Art of Animation who had done the program before, Custodial at Magic Kingdom, and she loved it. So I don't think it's better or worse either place. If you're at a park or at a resort, they're just completely different. Another reason they were different that I noticed was during the busy season, like Christmas, Halloween, all that stuff, at the parks, obviously you're going to be busier because there's more people there. At the resort can be at 100% capacity, and the pools may be busier sometimes, but it still isn't busy like the parks, because if it is busy and it's 100% capacity, people are at the parks. They're not just hanging out at the resort all the time. Like I said, there were days where the pools were busier, but it's not hard necessarily. As long as you just keep doing your rounds, as long as you keep picking stuff up, it's not bad. It wasn't bad at all. I really enjoyed it. One more thing I wanted to talk about that someone asked me in my last vlog was what it's like backstage. I thought I could kind of tie that in to this video, just because, I mean, there's not too much to say about it, obviously. It's backstage for us was cast services, and then we had backstage in the break room and behind front desk. Our cast services, backstage is not, I don't have something to compare it to besides when I picked up at Animal Kingdom. I wasn't back there long enough to be able to know what backstage at the parks really is like, and besides the tour during traditions that you do at Magic Kingdom, I don't really have park backstage knowledge. At Art of Animation, our backstage was very laid back. It's the cast services building, and you've got just different offices. Obviously you've got the custodial office, housekeepers, all that. Costuming was in cast services. There's not much to say about backstage really. It's exactly what you think it is. I mean, a lot of people ask if like the magic's gone when you're backstage, but it's not. I mean, working at Disney it doesn't get better than working at Disney. So yeah, sometimes you'll be backstage front desk and you'll see, like, for example, we saw Ariel and Prince Eric getting ready to go do meet and greets, and you'll just pass them in the hall. So stuff like that's kind of funny because it's just so normal to have characters backstage and stuff, which is awesome though. So but cast services really wasn't anything. It's just, I mean, that's where you clock in and that's where the managers are, and that was about it. Nothing too special. So I don't really have too much to say about backstage. If I think of anything, I will definitely add that to a vlog. But that's about it for this video. That's just kind of what I did at Disney as my time as a college programmer. And if any of you are debating doing custodial, I would highly recommend it. It is not what people think that it is. I'd go to the parks and people would be like, oh, where do you work? And I'd say custodial, and they'd be like, oh, and I'm like, no, it really is such a fun job. So don't get into your head that it's bad, because I wouldn't have traded it for anything. I met like some of my best friends in the job, which you will anywhere obviously, but I really enjoyed custodial. So if you guys have any more questions about my role, comment them, or just any questions at all. I'm gonna do also some video. I got a request for just some of my favorite moments and memories from housing, stuff like that. So if you guys have any other ideas for videos, let me know. So besides that, that's the end of the video, but thank you for watching and have a magical day.